Every family in Australia is going to get access to at least 3 days of subsidised childcare a week, no matter how much you work or study. Here's how it's going to work. Currently, there's an activity test in place to decide how much subsidised care you can get for your kids. Basically, it measures how much you work, study or volunteer, that kind of thing. The more hours of that you do, the more subsidised childcare you get. But 2 major inquiries recently called for this test to be dropped, saying it's kind of illogical because in order to actually do those things, you need someone to look after your kid first. If Labor win the election, they're going to partly follow those recommendations and dump this test for part of the week. They're going to replace it with at least 3 days of subsidised care a week for all families that earn less than $530,000 a year in combined income, which is the current threshold for subsidised care. So everyone currently getting subsidies is still going to get them. They won't have to prove how much activity they're doing for at least 3 of those days that they use childcare. But going beyond that, the activity test is still going to apply. The change has been welcomed by the peak body for families, the Parenthood.
What the activity test has done is locked out as many as 126,000 children and has disproportionately impacted children from lower income households, First Nations families, children with any form of disadvantage.
But not everyone's a fan. The opposition say the activity test should stay to ensure spots in childcare go to those who are working.
If somebody is taking a place in the childcare centre, and there are very few places, who is not working, and no criticism, by the way, of someone who is in that position, no criticism at all. But we believe, and that's why we changed the activity test, that we have to have that priority for working families.
The Greens aren't fans either, but for different reasons. They support dropping the activity test, but say that that doesn't go far enough.
Instead, they're tinkering around the edges with a half measure, but there is no commitment to abolish the activity test and to allow those 140,000 or so kids who are being locked out of education and whose parents are being locked out of work from being able to access that care and those work opportunities.
The federal government's also setting up a $1 billion fund to build centres in areas without enough access to services. These places are also known as childcare deserts.
So we'll look at schools that have space we can use.
The program aims to build centres that are located at local schools or near other services like maternity and healthcare.
And we'll work with states and territories when they build new schools to make early education part of the plan from day one.